Hello, my name is Lola, and I'm going to react to Gremlins 2, 1990 Kill Count by DeadMeat. This was requested by Maverick Cortez. Thank you for the recommendation. Yeah, again, like I said in my Gremlins Kill Count reaction, I was planning on doing this earlier, but then the holidays come up, and I got sick. But anyway, yeah, here I am, and yeah, let me just say, if you have not seen this movie, it's just crazy, yo. Just they definitely went more creative and more insane with with the creativity of the Gremlins. Giving them because they're not just going by like their like original. Well, some of them anymore. Like there's freaking like I remember a little bit of this movie. I don't remember a lot. I do remember that like yeah, there's one that freaking like has wings like a bat. One that freaking has looks like a spider or has spider legs, and they even introduce a female gremlin in this one. And then there's one that has like electrical powers, like and all that. He can jump into like like the wires and all that cable, whatever. And I think it ends with the female gremlin trying to get married to a guy, or she's getting married to some guy. I don't know. This movie is insane. Let me just say that is all. Like, and of course Gizmo. He's still the same. He's the only one that we never see. From what I remember, turn into a gremlin. He's still the same, same old good guy. And I love him. He's so cute. He's just little ball of fluff. Anyway, yeah, let's check this out. And if you want to like, comment, subscribe my channel, you can. If you don't want to, that's fine too. Here we go.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Gremlins 2, the new batch, released in 1990, 6 years after the original. Gremlins 2 proudly mocks the very concept of a Gremlins 2, which Joe Dante thought should never exist in the first place, even though Gremlins was a record-breaking hit for Warner Brothers.
The first one is Warner's third highest grossing film ever.
Dante felt the original had a proper ending, and was too worn out by its stressful puppet-filled production. He declined to make a sequel that would only be for profit, despite how much the studio wanted it. Warner Brothers spent the 80s trying to do it without him, with ideas that included sending the Gremlins to Las Vegas, and of course, outer space. Eventually they caved and gave in to Dante's demands.
Look, they're everywhere, bro.
And what did he ask for? 5 times the budget of the first film, and complete creative control. I know people think of the director as a film's highest boss, but they're not, and complete creative control is not common for them to have. Dante decided to wield this power with absolutely no responsibility, making a self-deprecating, self-aware sequel that was sure to alienate audiences. He and returning star Zach Galligan called the result Unfiltered Dante. Gremlins 2 moves away from horror entirely, turning the Gremlins into wacky villains who are basically cartoon characters. Dante clearly has a love for that kind of thing. Thus this movie's opening segment featuring Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. And thus why he'd go on to direct Looney Tunes Back in Action, which I maintain is easily the best live-action Looney Tunes movie. Suck it, Space Jams! Gremlins 2 annihilates the entire concept of sequels. The original Gremlins exists as a movie within Gremlins 2, and Gremlins 2 itself is revealed to also be just a movie. It's straight up manic, with gag after gag, and no real focus on story beats or realism. I mean, at one point, a guy rides a secret pneumatic tube. This shit is dumb as hell, and I love it. What's great about Gremlins 2 is that it's still a fully competently made movie. The gags are clever, the characters are enjoyable, and there's plenty of satire to go around. Joe Dante intentionally made a bad movie to mock the studio, and it still ended up being a lot of fun. It's more evidence that he's one of the most underrated genre filmmakers, and I'm not just saying that because he was nice when I interviewed him at his house that one time. Quick note, this movie is so insane it caused a first in Kill Kill Count production. Since my return, most episodes have a first draft written by either Tim or Jeremy. Then I'll do a pass, adding information from both my and Emma's extensive research. And then Zoran will do a joke pass, from which I pick and choose his jokes.
You can always pick more.
I pick enough. But this movie was so batshit, fucking literally, that all 4 of us writers had to do full passes on this thing in hopes we could explain what was happening on screen. Did we succeed? We fucking better have. I worked hard on this final amalgamation, but I'll let you judge for yourself. For the last time in 2022, let's get to the kills.
Yeah, that spider one always freaked me out, man. Because I hate
The
spiders.
movie begins with a Looney Tunes short, portending that this about to be a silly one. That's a title card, folks! And that's stock footage from Superman 4: The Quest for Peace? Okay, sure. Whatever tells us we're out of Kingston Falls and in the Big Apple now. We revisit Mr. Wing in Chinatown, where a group of corporate cronies are trying to buy his shop. They're working at the behest of Daniel Clamp, a New York City businessman who's always compensating for something.
I develop the biggest buildings in New York.
Daniel Clamp is a clear riff on then New York nuisance Donald Trump, whose boisterous ways and shady dealings made him unpopular in the Empire City. Gremlins 2 initially positions Clamp as the villain, but it ends up going easy on him, partly because of John Glover's wide-eyed, boyish performance. Mr. Wing ain't interested in selling, which is a problem for Clamp, since this guy's not going anywhere.
The death of Mr. Wing removes the last obstacle to developer Daniel Clamp's long-delayed Chinatown project.
Okay, never mind. Wing dies of off-screen-itis, a deadly disease that afflicts nearly 60% of all kill count victims. With no one around to run the store or check on any weird primates left behind, the demolition crew lets her rip. Oh damn, compared to his range of motion in the first one, Gizmo might as well be doing parkour here. I mean, Gizmo can walk now, though he might want to walk a little faster than that. Across town in Times Square, we meet back up with Billy and Kate, who are saving up to get married by clocking into corporate jobs at Clamp Tower. The skyscraper, played by 101 Park Avenue, is modeled after Trump Tower on 5th Avenue. Other Trump influences on Clamp include his autobiography, which looks very similar to Art of the Deal, as well as his obsession with metallic decoration, only Clamp uses silver instead of gold. Kate's moved on from slinging drinks to slinging facts as a tour guide, and Billy is, the concept artist for this movie. His chain-smoking boss is Marla Bloodstone, whose attitude is as dramatic as her choice of lipstick.
It's a nuclear meltdown disaster,
Billy's trying to get promoted, but that's gonna be hard with Security Chief Forrester getting all up in his shit over a potted plant. Forrester is played by Robert Picardo, another Joe Dante regular and silver medalist in the Werewolf Transformation Olympics of 1981. After they decided against making Clamp the villain, Forrester picked up the slack. He shows it by firing fellow Dante regular Henry Gibson.
That's an unauthorized break period, my friend. You don't work here anymore.
Back to the burbs with ya! Clamp Tower is more than just an office building. It's also got a TV studio, where Joe Dante cameos as a director. He's shooting Grandpa Fred, the Grandpa Munster-looking horror host who's suffering from a mid-death crisis.
I went into broadcasting. I thought I was going to do news.
Oh, that's the guy. That's the old guy from Last Action Hero.
Something meaningful.
Fred's played by Robert Prosky, last seen on the kill count making weird noises in Christine. The character is inspired by the way Al Lewis reprised Grandpa Munster in the late 80s as a horror host.
Hi, it's me, Grandpa, and I'm gonna be your host on Super Scary Saturday on the Super Station.
Like me, Grandpa Fred wishes youths would give black and white films a chance.
You know, Fred, you should run some of the classic horror movies like Frankenstein or Dracula.
Yeah. All the great horror movies are in black and white. Mr. Clamp only likes color.
This is a direct shot at TV mogul Ted Turner, the other inspiration for Daniel Clamp. Turner colorized lots of black and white movies in the late 80s for his TV stations. You know, for anyone who wished the zombies in Night of the Living Dead looked a little bit more like piss. Clamp Tower also has a genetics research lab. Sound crazy? It is! But it's got a fun name, the Splice of Life, and an awesome evil scientist in charge, the horribly named Dr. Catheter, played by legendary winner at life Christopher Lee. His clone flunkies Martin and Lewis show him their latest acquisition, Gizmo. They make him dance to Fats Domino, which shows off how far the animatronics had advanced. Original Gremlins effects artist Chris Wayless was unable to return for the new batch. He was busy doing effects for and directing The Fly 2, Fly Harder. His replacement was Rick Baker, one of the most successful special effects artists of all time. He redesigned Gizmo from the paws up, and even made him cuter than he was in the last movie. but his cuteness doesn't help him escape Sauron's grasp. Billy's tipped off to Gizmo's whereabouts by a delivery guy played by Raymond Cruz, who we saw in Alien Resurrection, and who you've probably seen in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. His future co-star Dean Norris appears at the end of this film as a SWAT team member.
Move, sir.
There's so much Breaking Bad in the Gremlins films. Billy acts as a technician to get past this snotty girl/boy/Pat. While the scientists are busy making ratteries, Billy finds Gizmo, who remembers the kid he spent a few days with 6 years earlier. Billy re-kidnaps him and pulls a 28 days later to cover his tracks. Billy sticks Gizmo in a filing cabinet where the Mogwai breaks his little hand. Poor baby. Like I said, Gremlin technology had come a long way since 1984.
Gremlins 2 was actually a lot of fun to make, and Gremlins 1 was not a lot of fun to make.
But Mogwai Zero was still the smallest and most fragile animatronic on set. That's why he spends a lot of the movie in a little Gizmo Gitmo. But hey, judging by his on-set behavior, maybe he deserved it.
Here's your coffee, sir.
A surprise visit from the big clamp himself cuts the reunion short. But don't worry, he's just a normal guy like everyone else.
Look at the kids with the kites. That's warmth. I like warmth.
He falls head over Gucci for Billy's art and pays him the highest compliment any CEO can, kind of learning his name.
Bill, huh?
The interest Clamp shows in him sparks Miss Bloodstone's interest in Billy's man-thing. She invites him to dinner, and Billy accepts in order to keep her out of his other drawers. He asks Kate to grab Gizmo and Mogwai sit for the night, which is not her idea of paradise.
That furry thing?
I love how traumatizing the first movie was for everyone in Kingston Falls except Billy. Of course Kate would hate the little ghoulies. They're the second worst thing that ever happened to her on Christmas. Turns out between showings of Rambo, Gizmo's been watching MacGyver. If he also caught Addams Family, he might recognize original Gomez John Astin, showing off the world's most powerful water fountain. The jet stream ruins Billy's art and Gizmo's day when his lower lumbar supports new life all over again. This time, 4 new Easter eggy Mogwais are spawned. George and Lenny, named after the characters in Of Mice and Men, Daffy the hyperactive one, and Mohawk, who's basically just Stripe 2.0. The ungrateful kids force their Mogfather to go explore Nakamagwai Tower and let Daffy do his best Gizmo impression in order to fool Kate.
Gizmo, you're so hyper.
As Kate takes King Wrong home, Marla takes liberties with her business dinner.
Gosh, I'm feeling so vulnerable with you, Billy.
He declines a friendly game of touch footballs, but can't make a clean getaway from the so-called ethnic restaurant here in Clamp Tower, that ethnicity being Canadian.
How about some horn?
I'd say she's had enough. Between the red lipstick and the wrong rap thing, could this night get any worse?
Oh, surprise!
Fucking Futtermans. Reminder that they survived their bulldozing from the first movie, as mentioned in last week's kill count and the beginning of this movie.
He was just kind of rattled.
Well, I guess having a bunch of little monsters drive a snowplow through your living room could kind of do that to you.
Well, he was almost killed.
They're coping pretty well with the goblin trauma. Murray's nationalism hasn't skipped a beat.
Do you know they got Russian guys driving cabs in this burg?
By the time Billy and Kate try to swap Gizfo for Gizmo, it's after midnight. The other furry fiends are taking snack baths and returning composer Jerry Goldsmith's Rocky Road. Damn, this froyo place open after midnight? Tell my DoorDasher where it at. They can just look for the place that's loud as a club. It's even got an after-hours Chippendales dancer as a manager. While most of the exterior shots were filmed in New York City, Gremlin 2's interior scenes were shot on sound stages at Warner Brothers Studio in Burbank, California. Jim Spencer returned as production designer to create this massive mall set, which cost between $6 and $8 million to make. With fully stocked shelves and working elevators to its second floor, it was one of the biggest sets ever built at Warner Brothers.
It was designed so that you could take a camera and go into every store and go up elevators and out and shoot all sorts of things in continuous takes if you wanted to, and we did at times.
Billy tries to avoid a repeat of the first film by shutting off the building's water supply, but he's arrested by Burb star Rick Ducommun as a security guard who releases the Duffel Daffy. Better stop that little monster before he eats something.
He already ate something.
Oh, too late, I guess. Just don't let him snort baking powder then, or else he'll have muffins growing out of his nose. Kate posts bail at 9 o'clock sharp, but by then, we've already got a 3-grem omelet cooking. And Gizmo ain't gonna be much help. The gremlified Mohawk grabs the Mogwai and channels the first movie's crew as he tortures him with bright lights, Velcro, and making copies. 1990 was a great year for photocopy gags in horror movies. After Marla tries to get more sex blood from Billy Stones, she's caught by Kate, who decides they should divorce divide and conquer. Billy preaches the 3 commandments to the building security team, who responds like snarky commenters online.
What if one of them eats something at 11 o'clock, but then he gets something stuck in his teeth?
What if they're eating in an airplane and they cross a time zone?
The filmmakers knew the rules were flimsy the first time around, and this was their chance to officially poke holes in them.
I mean, it's always midnight somewhere.
Whoa, what the
Wrong kind of poked holes.
Holy
The Play Pals
shit.
worker survives the attack, and we get a great first look at Rick Baker's ooier gooier gremlins, now 100% more bald and slimy. Wait, does slimy count as wet? What about the wetness, Joe? Billy scares off Mohawk, who, like his predecessor Stripe, is voiced by the Cave of Wonder that is Frank Welker. Howie Mandel returned as Gizmo, of course, and other gremlin voices were done by Mark Dodson, Nancy McConnor, and Kirk Thatcher, whom we just saw on the kill count in Werewolf by Night. Kate tries to keep calm and carry on with her tour-giving duties, but her Paula Deen pit stop is interrupted by a surprise guest. Microwave Marge is basted into submission in a callback to the kitchen scene from the first film. But this time, George has learned from his ancestors' mistakes. He uses it against his human oppressors and triggers the sprinkler system. Before you know it, baby's got back babies. Ew, nature can be a little NSFW sometimes. But hey, we're getting a look at gremlins being born in real time. Looks like they come out fully formed, like those dumb-looking protomorphs or whatever. In the security room, Forster finally notices the creatures multiplying like Land Before Time sequels, but he still doesn't report it to the boss since he knows how busy CEOs can be.
Let's do some memos.
Unfortunately for Clamp, his receptionist gets replaced by a gremlin off screen, and that guy is way worse at dictation. Clamp gets some payback by sending this teenage mutant kind of turtle into the shredder. Is it weird if I think that gremlin would taste good with chips? Billy arrives with Forrester to warn Clamp that they have to close the building before sundown to keep the gremlins from getting out into the city. Clamp is 100% on board now, so they just need to meet up with Kate, who's currently stuck on a faulty elevator.
Sound alarm.
Damn you, Gremlexa! The gremlins and Russ Thorne attack Kate, but she manages to fight and fight and fight and fight and bite until village person Daffy sends the elevator plummeting to the ground. Kate survives, but the gremlins get turned into Nickelodeon slime. It's a little confusing to count these out of focus shots, but the top appears to have 9 gremlins and the busy bottom about 19. So let's put 28 on Daffy's tab. Crashing elevators can't stop all the gremlin mayhem, and they wind up on another TV set with famed film critic Leonard Maltin. He's giving a review of the original Gremlins film.
What's fun about a movie full of ugly, slimy, mean-spirited, gloppy little monsters who run amok and attack?
In real life, Maltin also gave a scathing review to the first Gremlins movie, calling it icky mayhem. Dante invited him to cameo in the sequel as the movie police, and Maltin agreed to come on and get killed by some gremlins, sticking their nasty claws down his throat. Despite his untimely demise, he gave Gremlins 2 a much better review. Over at the science lab, all hell has broken loose.
What on earth is going on?
Said the man holding a pod from the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which appeared in the first movie as well. In fact, Dr. Cushing Catheter is one gobbledygooker-sized Easter egg. He's played by Christopher Lee, of course, who played Dracula in the Hammer horror films. The character's first name Cushing is named after Peter Cushing, who always foiled Dracman as Van Helsing. The Gremlins break into the Noun Project labeled potion beakers, allowing true cartoon insanity to unfold. Their escapades give us all kinds of gremlins, like Vegetable Gremlin, Electricity Gremlin, and Bat Gremlin, which works as a nice nod to Mr. Lee. This scene is, of course, what inspired one of the greatest Key and Peele sketches ever.
You just said noun and gremlin, like you playing Mad Libs. You just like a child. You have the brain of a child.
If you've seen this movie, you have to watch this sketch. It's the best form of esoteric humor. A lot of these extra gremlins were conceived of by Rick Baker. He was initially hesitant to work on a sequel with creatures he didn't create, but agreed to the job as long as he could make more diverse gremlins and mogwai.
Every day that we shot, we made up stuff. You know, Joe says, you know, what are we gonna have him do today? You know, it's like, well, I don't know. What do you want him to do? He goes, well, you know, have him throw stuff, you know.
I love how everyone has a Joe Dante impression. No, I don't think there's too many gremlins. You could probably have even more. The leader of Noun Gremlins is Brain Gremlin, whose thinking juice allows him to talk.
I wanna
talk a little bit about what's going on in this room, because I think there are some fascinating ramifications here for the future.
The now nearsighted brain gremlin is voiced by the departed Tony Randall, best known as the uptight Felix in the Odd Couple TV show. With the power of thought, Brain Gremlin injects Bartok Gremlin with genetic sunblock. It allows the Daybat to escape, leaving only cross-promotion in its wake. The Bat Gremlin's movements are mostly done through old-school stop-motion, using puppets created by Doug Beswick. Beswick also created the stop-motion puppet for the dancing Deadite Linda in Evil Dead 2. The puppets used ball and socket joints for their points of articulation, and were covered with a flexible foam latex that was painted by hand. Lucky for New York, Bat Gremlin restricts its attack to one Fetter Man and one Fetter Woman. Murray's weirdly specific PTSD crawls out of its mental dungeon, and he attacks the Bat Gremlin, covering it in wet cement until it looks like a gray peanut butter baby. The bat takes off and lands on a nearby church, where it becomes a gargoyle, threatening to ruin an otherwise great Disney animated movie. Fuck you, Jason Alexander! The original Gremlins screenwriter, Chris Columbus, wasn't available to write the sequel since he was busy directing Home Alone. Taking over for him was Charles S. Haas, who cameos as Dr. Catheter's assistant. Dante and returning producer Michael Fennell told Haas to go absolutely nuts with the script. When he originally pitched Gremlins Take Manhattan, he planned on including more sightseeing around the city. Warner Brothers flinched at the price tag, so he narrowed down the chaos to an impossibly large skyscraper. Hey, at least it wasn't a cruise ship, dude. That skyscraper is getting messy though, since the salad bar is under attack. NFL legends Dick Buttkiss and Bubba Smith attempt to beat their vegetables. Utter chaos unfolds, including an appearance from serial sex offender Gremlin. Since Gremlins 2 is more cartoonishly violent than the first film,
why does he do that? He's got nothing down there.
Sure, those people might have gremlin rabies now, but they're not dead, you know? Here, I'll count this Wilhelm screamer. If that sound effect is good enough to kill a stormtrooper, it's good enough to kill this guy. As an evacuation occurs, Billy arrives to hear Catheter give a redemptive monologue.
There's some things that man is not meant to displace.
And some things they are, like a film reel, but not in the middle of the movie. Come on! These gosh dang gremlins have gone more meta than Scream. They swap out the movie's third act for an old nudist exploitation flick that may have inspired that DOA Extreme Beach volleyball game. This massive breach of the fourth wall was inspired by one of Dante's favorite movies, the Olsen and Johnson comedy Hell's a Poppin' from 1941.
Just a moment, Woody. We're having a little trouble with this film.
That film also featured its stars interacting with footage from other movies, and made jokes using the film medium itself.
Hey, how did you get up there?
How did you get down there?
The audience, or the fake one, doesn't like it.
I can't believe this. I mean, this is worse than the first one.
The usher there is Paul Bartel, previously seen on this show, not eating Raoul in Shopping Mall. There's only one man who can make these gremlins say their prayers and take their vitamins.
Okay, you guys. Listen up.
You ready, brother?
People paid good money to see this movie.
I'm glad wrestler actors have gradually gotten better and better. This was Hulk Hogan at one of his most popular points. He was in the middle of 2 back-to-back Royal Rumble wins and a mercifully short string of starring movie roles. Hogan hulks up and yells at the Gremlins to finish the movie, and they oblige, lest they get themselves body slammed like Andre. When it came to this infamous meta moment, Warner Brothers was afraid that real audience members would think the film actually broke and walk out of the movie theater. Test audiences proved them wrong, but when Dante and company made an alternate interruption exclusive to the VHS, rental stores did get an awful lot of returns. And for the record, if you're watching that version, it adds 3 more Gremlin kills to the count, courtesy of John Wayne. Consider that your cut comparison. There was no new sequence for the DVD release, but a Belgian fan named Sasha Feiner made their own version as a short film in 2008. Fun stuff, since it sees the Gremlins inserted into a bunch of movies, including The Exorcist and The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Finally, for the novelization of the film, this part sees Brain Gremlin attacking the author and writing the next couple of pages, during which he discusses a Gremlins manifesto. Back in Gremlins 2, like the real Gremlins 2, Grandpa Fred has failed to drop dead and is fulfilling his dream of becoming a news anchor. His one-man crew is Mr. Katsuji, a wayward member of Kate's tour group.
Can you work a TV camera?
Work a camera? I am the camera!
Yeah, he'll make an anchor man out of you. Katsuji is played by Gede Watanabe, who definitely gives it his all, but man, do I hate this character. It's such a lazy stereotype of the photog Japanese tourist from the 80s. Which happened, by the way, because that was right after Japan had its big-time economic boom. Japanese citizens could afford to travel way more often, and knew cameras well because of the country's longtime companies like Nikon and Fujifilm. The more you know. These two had better get rolling, because the Gremlins are way ahead ahead of them in shots. They're serving up calf juice
Whoa.
and theater kid juice and, What is that, Surge? Billy, Forster, and Catheter get back to the lab where Forster meets our first female gremlin. It's Greta Gremlin, alliteratively named as an homage to the great Greta Garbo.
Bitch, you had me a little gremlin but JJ.
Greta's in a mata hurry to get laid and sets her sights on the security
Whoa.
honcho. While they sin against nature,
Damn.
the doc tries to pull out a gun, but pulling out catheters only results in pain. Billy manages to free his army of one hand, but the electricity gremlin challenges this sore old man to a wizard's duel. The light is burned out of the Wicker Man, who should never have messed with nature. Twice the pride, double the fall. After Catheter dies hard, Billy is shot at by Mohawk, who now has a machine gun. Ho ho ho. He's also got a spider potion. Ho ho no! Billy meets up with Clamps just as Electric Gremlin
Spiders.
places a call to collect his life. Somebody saves him! Billy, who traps the gremlin by putting him on hold forever. Best not do that to your Gramplin and Gremlin, Bill. Despite the gremlin's Muzak imprisonment, Clamp figures this is the end of the world. He changes his TV station's programming accordingly.
We hope you have enjoyed our programming, but more importantly, we hope you have enjoyed life.
This is based on an actual tape Ted Turner kept on hand in case the Cold War got too hot. There's also an excellent, creepy as fuck horror take on it on Local 58, the scariest YouTube channel I've ever watched. They hatch a plan where Billy will do most of the work and the boss will take all the credit. They'll trick the gremlins to the lobby by setting the clocks forward to nighttime, then drop a big fake night sky curtain and give them some of that world famous New York sunshine. Clamp uses his pneumatic bank tube of an elevator to get outside. Ooh, any dum-dums in there? Mr. Futterman sees him and somehow avoids the entire city's eyeballs as he slinks into the tube to get inside. Meanwhile, Grandpa Fred says, fuck it, he'll do it live! He does a sit-down interview with Brain Gremlin, which shows off how well Tony Randall's voice performance was served by Rick Baker's animatronics. Baker used a machine called a Gilder Fluke to interpret Randall's pre-recorded dialogue into muscle movements on the puppet's face. First, they'd go through and program the upper lip, then go through again with the lower lip, then the tongue, and then finally the jaw. It took a while, but the end result is impressive. The interview goes well until Brain goes full Joker and kills a gremlin wearing a silly hat.
Was that civilized? No, clearly not. Fun, but in no sense civilized.
I love Fred's casual get the fuck out of here move. He ain't going out like De Niro. Kate finds Marla caught in a spider web. The femme fatale admits that she hit on Billy, but that he was a good loyal boy. So Kate seemingly forgives her, just in time to see an oncoming spider gremlin. With Billy and Mr. F miles away, or maybe like a room away, hard to tell in this place, who could come save Kate and Marla? Oh shit yeah, OG Grogu! Where the hell you been, little buddy? Oh, that's right, getting absolutely tortured by Stripe V2 Mohawk, who has now become the Spider Gremlin. Gizmo's been montage training so he can take his revenge. Equipped with the staples of war, Gizmo shoots his Gizmo into the Spider Gremlin. It kills him, burning him down into a patented, gross, gooey gremlin mess. If melting gremlins ain't enough of a direct reference to the first movie for you, don't worry. Mr. Futterman mentions Abraham Lincoln, which triggers another horrifying holiday story from Kate's childhood.
This man with this
Honey,
beard and a hat looked just like Abe Lincoln.
Honey, I really don't think
Except
we've
for
got
the
time for
raincoat.
this now, you know?
Billy must save a fortune on Hallmark cards. Also must save on Broadway tickets, since the show is being brought to him. It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to melt the puppets on the Gremlin show tonight.
These strange creatures now appear to be mounting what seems to be a musical number.
Brain Gremlin launches into a rendition of Frank Sinatra's New York, New York, which originated in the 1977 Scorsese film of the same name. This bonkers sequence puts the first film's bar scene to shame with a Rick Baker's dozen worth of gags, including line dancing gremlins, synergy gremlins, bartender gremlins, universal monster gremlins, domestic terrorist gremlins, and a super elaborate reference to the Depression-era Busby Berkeley musical Dames, with Greta Gremlin subbing in as the star attraction. Rick Baker had to design all these damn gremlins from scratch, going from sketch to sculpt to mold to rubber that then had to be painted and have hair punched in. So much work for such fleeting images. Most of these guys only last a single shot. Oh shit, sometimes less. Before our heroes can flash the rest, the forecast calls for a change of plans. With no sunlight to melt these very extra little guys, Billy skips the Tremor-style planning scene and just orders folks around, telling Futterman to grab the fire hose, Kate to go to a telephone, and
Marla, smoke.
Thanks.
On his way to the hose, Futterman's Dilophosaurused by a gremlin with what I can only hope is snot. He retaliates by throwing the mucusy gremlin down an elevator shaft, killing him like he were Drake Murray. Murray interrupts Gremlin Manuel Miranda's high note with high pressure from the hose. Billy cues Kate to put the call with Electric Gremlin through, which electrocutes the horde of gremlins. Or more accurately, Electra uglifies them. You thought stripe melting was disgusting? I mean, just look at this. So much, well,
I can't say what it looks like on television.
The hemogoblins turn into hemoglobin, and Brain Gremlin's plans to take over the world are thwarted. Thus ends another grotesque and gooey gremlin genocide. There's no magic trick to figuring out how many gremlins were in this place, so I had to do it the old-fashioned way.
Count.
Assigned it to Josh to count. By his count, there were 445 gremlins who died faster than Brain Gremlin's Broadway prospects. Add one in for Electric Gremlin, who was used as a weapon and also, I guess, died. Thank you, Josh. To portray this kill-counting nightmare, Mark Stetson and his team created a quarter-scale version of the mall lobby. The set was elevated so puppeteers could operate the mini gremlins from beneath. When it came time for them to die, they'd pull on cords underneath the platform, causing them to crumple. Cool stuff. Clamp arrives with the cavalry and starts dishing out happy endings for all. He promotes Grandpa Fred and Mr. Katsuji to the news team, hires Billy to design a small Kingston Falls-like town, and begins an inappropriate office relationship with Marla. That last point was actually just a coincidence, not a nod to Donald Trump's extramarital affair with Marla Maples. That wouldn't become public knowledge until after production had wrapped. Oh yeah, Clamp also licenses Gizmo.
It's funny, I look at him, you know what I see?
What's that, sir?
Dolls with suction cups staring out car windows.
And of course, those are actual things. Kate's happy ending is that she and Billy will get married, and also, I don't know, she's not dead. The movie ends with Greta Gremlin's happy ending, which is an actual happy ending. As the last of her species, she's looking to reproduce, so good thing she's found Forster. You're the man now, dog! Oh man, they're gonna fuck, huh? How many new kills did this
The look on his face
Gremlins net us? Let's find out and get to the Let's find out and get to the numbers. Welcome to the kill count.
James, why would you do that to me? I was actually gonna pause and be like, man, is there something wrong with my connection again? Like, come on, man. What the? You actually got me, dude. You actually got me. And for that, just applaud, dude. And yeah, that look on the dude's face, like he gave to her, that Greta, that girl gremlin, like he just gave a look like like I've done worse. I've done worse with other worse things. Like, no, why? For real, this got me bad, dude. I was about to be like freaking out, like, oh my god, this isn't my connection again. Like, he got me good, dude. Really good.
Boo! Boo! For copyright claims! Boo! Yeah, boo!
Yeah, boo!
Get out of here, critter! Critters weird and everything, those munchies and... Easy voices! Yes!
What up, world? It's me, Brizzy, and today I'm going to be doing impressions of 80s horror films, starting with the classic, Gremlins. Gizmo!
No. It's more like Gizmo caca!
Alright, if it's so easy, you do an impression of me.
Okay.
Help! They're eating me alive! I've never said that.
Nope. Oh, I love teleanimated.
Today we're looking at every evolution of Gremlins.
I've seen
animated.
that video.
Oh, and the Mogwais too.
Fuck! Mogwais!
Well, hey! Ow! Wait! We still haven't done Pinhead's evolution. No! Ah!
Oh yeah.
What did we learn from Snow White? It's one of the best movies of all time. It's the first full animated feature.
If you have not seen Practical Folks, I recommend it because it is just pretty much James, his then girlfriend Chelsea, and their friends just sit around getting drunk while watching Disney movies, and they play drinking games and all that. It's so funny, it's so silly. I recommend you check them out. And of course, teleanimated, which I've seen their videos too. I've seen their Gremlins evolution video. It's so good.
And I think
Watches this movie doesn't relate. Somebody get this gremlin out of here.
Dude, are you kidding? I would do Waxwork 3 in like a millisecond, bro. Will you excuse me for a minute? Hey, Gremlins, quit messing with the YouTube and just let James get to the numbers, okay?
No, I don't want it.
Otherwise, when we do a sequel, I'll make sure every single one of you is CGI. YouTube's all yours, James.
Thank you, Zach. God, try to run a show around here.
Honestly, I think they would be better at running YouTube than the people that are currently running YouTube right now. You know what I mean. You know. You know. If you know, you know. If you don't, yeah.
We played real loose with the rules here and counted 4 human deaths in Gremlins 2,
Just guys.
all of whom were men, I think. Let's bounce this blue ball out of here, though, so we can see the 480 gremlins
Whoa.
we counted. Holy shit.
Yeah.
For comparison's sake, Gremlins 2 had 1 more human kill than the original, and more than 3 times the gremlin deaths. That's how you do a sequel. With a runtime of 106 minutes, that left us with a human kill on average every 26.5 minutes. As for gremlin kills, well, we averaged 1 every 13.25 seconds.
Whoa.
Goddamn! I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to the call waiting from hell. Sure, it's technically a lot of kills, but come on, just look at that slop. It's the final meltdown. Dom Machete for lamest kill goes to Mr. Wing, because he didn't even get a death scene. And the gold medal for greatest gremlin obviously goes to Greta Gremlin. Look at her, she's fabulous. There aren't enough yeses in the world for this queen. And that's it. Gremlins 2 came out in 1990 and cost a shit ton of money to make. Despite their investment, Warner's opened it against Disney's Dick Tracy, which caused a box office return that nearly killed the franchise. Since then, all we've seen of Gizmo is in a Mountain Dew commercial. But there's apparently an animated series next year, so we can look forward to that. I hope everyone has been having happy holidays. We'll be screaming in the New Year's since our first episodes back in 2023 will be the Scream recounts, finally. Until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching this Kill Count for Gremlins 2, the new batch. And thanks a lot for watching all the kill counts this year. All the Tremors and other Zorn episodes that kicked the year off, Chelsea's American Psycho and American Psycho 2 episodes, and all the ones since I've been back, including 2 seasons of television, which are not easy to cover. Just a reminder, in case you don't notice when you're listening to me yammer up here, we have credits for each individual episode right below me, like right now as I'm talking. I think it's really important to share who does what on this show. Because yeah, 5 years ago, it was just me doing everything. And now we have a whole goddamn team of super talented people, and I love them all. Scream recounts will be beginning maybe after like 1 week off. Give us a little bit of time to like catch our breath after the holidays. And of course, the 4 recounts will be followed by the Scream 5 kill count. I want to thank some patrons like the Critic of Innocence, Ethan Itzen, Angie Gore, Catherine Finch, Derugia, Steve Bread, Definitely Reading, and Van Sir. Thanks everyone. Be good people and have a happy new year.
Yeah, that was the plan, James. It was the plan. In case you don't know, yeah, I understand James's reason why you know why he's holding the kill counts on a pause. It's because his dad is sick, and so he's taking time off to go see him and be with him as much as he can. I hope he gets better. I hope the best for James. It's like, man, like already bad enough, man. Like with all the stuff they're dealing with on YouTube with the copyright strikes, claims, and just all that, like it's already bad enough, man. Now this, like I just hope that, you know, he takes all the time he needs. Just, you know. Anyway, yeah, this movie, yo, like, my God, this movie is just crazy, yo. Like, and yeah, John, what's his name? John Glover, yeah. I know him better as he was Lionel Luthor in that show Smallville, where he played as Lex Luthor's dad. That's where I know him from. And yeah, he also briefly appeared in I think that Batman and Robin movie, which I can't believe James did not. he did. He didn't make a reference to that. He didn't say that. Like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I do remember there was a Super Bowl ad where yeah, they did show yeah, they show Gizmo and the guy who played Billy in the Gremlin movies. Yeah. Though I don't think was it Mountain Dew? Yeah, I think it was Mountain Dew. Yeah. If I remember. Yeah. Yeah, and I remember being a kid and like hearing that like, oh, there was kind of maybe an interest of doing a sequel, remake, show, movie of Gremlins something, but yeah, since then it's been quiet. And I didn't know that they're going to release a little animated series where it just follows Gizmo. It looks like it might be okay. That was pretty cool though to see. Oh my god, to see them add the Gremlin into tell it animated and uh, an old episode of Practical Folks, which again I highly request you check that one out. It's just pretty much James and Chelsea and their friends just playing a drinking game while watching Disney movies. I think my favorite episode of that one was Lion King 2. That one was my favorite. Uh I also do like the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs one. That was I think their first episode. Uh yeah, that is pretty funny that like man they poking fun at Trump. Ugh. And yeah, this movie, yo. Oh, that part was so gross though at the end. What- he just gives a look like I give it a try. Like bro, no. Oh, yeah. It's just silly, yo. Oh, yeah, that was pretty cool. I was hoping that like, how cool would it be to see like a gremlin like cross with a snake, or like cross with like a shark or a crocodile? Like, oh, that would be freaky, yo. Oh, but that was pretty cool though with the freaking like Batman and the spider and yeah, one of them like gets like smarter and starts talking. Like what? That was pretty cool. Well, that's it. And well, let me know what you think. Do you love this movie? Do you not like it? Honestly, I like the first one. Honestly, second one, I think it's okay. I especially like when like yeah, they get kind of like meta with it. Like they bring up the freaking first one. It kind of reminds me of like what was that movie? What's another movie that did something like this? Uh, where they like reference the original movie or something like that. Yeah, I think one that recently comes to mind is the Human Centipede. That one, where it's like, oh, the first, second, and third movie were just movies. Like what? Oh, but those movies were stupid. This one though is fun though, but I still like the original. I like the original, honestly. But yeah, let me know what you think. And I really like this kill count. Uh, and I can't wait to see James come back. You know. Anyway, yeah, that's it. That's my reaction to Gremlins 2, 1990 Kill Count by DeadMeat. Everyone take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you in the next one.